And we're going 3. We're going 2. This is the Ray Powers era. We are live. With me, you know, if you've followed either one of us for the past that many years, I mean, my God, I think I've known you longer than I haven't. So that just gives you an idea.
Probably at this point.
He's got a brand new single out called Talking to Myself Out Loud. It's catching fire. I mean, come on already. It's Ray Powers and John Taglieri. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Good. Now, whose show are we on? Am I on your show tonight or you on mine? I can't.
I'm on your show tonight.
Nice.
You were on my show a little bit back.
Yeah. And look at you, man. You got the studio popping, and we just started the video side here, so this is an absolute discount store here, but we're going to get there. I'm going to have to pick your brain for some of the up lights and everything else. You look great on that side, man.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what, man? Not as expensive as people think.
Oh, thank God.
Lots of good budget stuff out there these days that look fantastic.
Nice.
So
to understate, you're a busy guy, and I know a thing or two about busy. We've run this crazy parallel for really since the friggin' 90s. It's crazy. You're a dad now, times 2.
Yes.
And you've got a fitness program, you've got the gym you're running, you've got the TV show, you've got a single out. What aren't you doing?
Sleeping?
Sleeping, yeah.
No, actually, I get a pretty good amount of sleep. I can't complain about sleep.
I've had to start because
I got conditioned after touring for so long that like 4 hours, you know, I'm a happy kid. So even nowadays, if I get 5 hours, I'm good to go. So I get my sleep. I'm pretty good.
I mean, your body really wants 5 to 8, but you know, sometimes I'll treat myself to 6.
Yeah, for me, it's like 5-ish, and I'll wake up typically after just so many years on the road. I mean, you know how that goes.
If I go 5:19, I'm like, oh, we're around to 6. My body will never know. So, I know the answer already because I'm in the same boat, but why now to put out the single? You had a spare minute?
Because it was 5 years in the making.
Really?
And it finally came together in a way that I thought it said exactly what I wanted to say.
Has it been that long in between singles? And
yeah.
I guess records?
Yeah. So 2015, True Believer came out.
Right. That's 6 years ago already?
Yeah. And I damaged a vocal cord at the end of that year. And I saw the doctors up in Boston who the same team that fixed Adele and fixed John Mayer and fixed Steven Tyler and did amazing things for all these singers and people that they work with. And they told me I should stop singing. They said, what I have is irreparable. They can't do anything about it.
Wow.
It was very sobering and very humbling as a guy who was doing, 270 shows, 280 shows a year, to stand in a doctor's office and have him say, hey, play me one of your songs from, early in your career. And I did. And he goes, that's an awesome song. You'll never sing that again.
Seriously?
And I was just like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. That is gone. You don't have that voice anymore.
All that high register stuff you were doing. You were a high tenor, right? I mean,
I was the Lou Gramm, Steve Perry, Brad Delp singing voice world.
That classic 80s vocalist that we all coveted. Yeah.
And it was gone. That portion of my vocal cord is missing now.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's a muscle. That's the whole thing. People don't always think about it, but it's a muscle, and as we get older, they change.
Well, you know what happened? I developed acid reflux and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
So I was going to sleep every night and the acid was coming up and literally it cooked a piece of my vocal cord right off.
Wow.
So I have what's called a sulcus on my right vocal cord. If you look at the edge of the vocal cord, so for those of you who don't know how vocal cords work,
you're going to know.
There's vocal folds and there's a muscle part. And then at the very edge of the muscle is a little vibrational layer. So every sound you hear comes off this very, very thin layer of tissue. On my right vocal cord, there's one section of it, that vibrational layer is gone. It burned that thin layer off. So I can sing Johnny Cash and I can sing Mariah Carey high notes. I can't do Third Eye Blind.
Wow.
I can't do Journey. Yeah. And for covers, it was no big deal. You stop singing Journey, you start singing The Clash. You find a million cover songs to do. But when I wrote music, I sat down with a guitar knowing what my voice could do. And now I was thrown into a place where I couldn't trust my voice anymore. The doctors literally said, you're either going to just quit singing or you're going to have to figure out a brand new way because everything you've ever known is gone as you've known it to be.
Wow. It's probably like E4 to E5, like right above middle C, probably.
It is. That's exactly where it is.
Yeah.
It is. And it's about 8 or 10 notes that are gone.
Yeah.
I can make them work on certain nights, but I have a limited window of it because I have to sing really hard to make them work. And then I over push and your vocal cords get swollen when you push hard.
Yeah.
So I get a certain point where that space actually closes nicely and I can make the notes and then that space is overdone. Wow. And then I'm too swollen and I can't get any notes out anymore.
Do you warm up a lot too, or is that just going to tax you more in a warm up? Are you just saving it for the performance?
No, I do warm up. They had to teach me. I went through an entire year of vocal therapy to learn how to make my voice work again. And they created sliding warm-ups where you do scales. I do.
You do glissandos, yeah.
I have to slide through scales. And each time I slide a little further and further until I hit the spots that don't work. And then I slide past them and do these big, big slides. And I'll just start my slides in different octaves in different places. But that's how I have to warm up now. I can't do step warm-ups.
Oh, wow.
So consequently, I was writing a lot of music and I couldn't trust my voice to do any of it. So I'd write a song that I was like, all right, cool. I like that. And I come down here the next day and I couldn't sing it at all. Wow. It's that hit or miss.
And I mean, in the studio, it's one thing because, you have all the time in the world. You could sing it line by line, but trying to do that stuff live, that's.
Yeah, but what happened? So I wrote Talking to Myself Out Loud about a year ago and I wrote lyrics for it 3 different times and none of it made sense and I couldn't figure it out and it just didn't work. But I believed in the song. When you write a song and you just know like there's something there.
Yeah.
I just got to find it. So in life, you get humbled, right? There's times where you get humble and you understand that it's time to make changes. So I called up my friend Monk Dwayne and I said, look, buddy, I need you to produce a song for me. And I need to do it at your studio because if I come in here, I'm going to pick up the same instruments. They're going to tell me the same stories. I'm going to write in the same ways and I'm going to expect a different result. Mm-hmm. And that's what had happened for 5 years. I was coming in here and doing the same things I'd always done, expecting a different result. So I took the song to him and we'd had a lot of conversation before I went in the studio with him and we used his studio, his instruments. He led the sessions. I followed. And I brought him the song and, it was sort of a mid-up-tempo rocker. And he's like, why don't we try this? And he brought it down to where you hear it as it is now. And within 30 seconds of him playing it that way, I was looking at all the lyrics, the 3 lyrics out in front of me. It was like that verse lit up. That B section lit up. That line in the chorus lit up. I'd actually said everything I wanted to say, but I put it in a puzzle in different places in 3 different versions. And him taking it down and changing the feel, all of a sudden, all of the pieces made sense. And he said to me, you're a power singer, but you don't have the power anymore. Right. So why don't we make you whisper? And I don't know how to whisper. I'm a power singer.
Right. It's a whole technique. Yeah.
And he found a way for me to whisper. Wow. And where I always got people's attentions because I could sing Boston.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, wow.
You pinned me back with that note. Yeah.
Now we're making people, instead of pinning them back with the note, we're making them lean in to listen. Because when you whisper, somebody's got to lean in. What'd you say? So we're now taking the tact of let's be intimate in the delivery and make people listen instead of,
Yeah, right
so
away.
That's how we got here. So Monk drove the bus on this one, and it turned out to be the perfect situation.
Yeah, the first 30 seconds, like you said, I was like, oh, wow, this totally is different. I got like a Hall & Oates vibe, like the Mellotron and like the whole keyboard intro.
Yeah.
And those major seventh chords. I just love those chords. They drive me crazy.
Well, he does
the unresolved
movie
stuff.
soundtracks.
Yeah.
The guy does movie soundtracks on a regular basis.
I can hear it.
So he hears things in a different way, than just a pop writer.
It just kind of like rises up and just kind of creeps up on you. And and now it just builds.
So, the story of the song is honestly the lyrics of the song, or the conversation that I had with myself for 5 years, talking to myself out loud in the mirror. Why can't I work? Why don't you work? Why isn't this work? That was me for 5 years, like screaming at myself every day. Am I done? Was my last record my last record? Like, I'm 14 albums in. Am I finished at my age? I've got nothing more to give. So that's what the song is. It's about. It's about the 5-year journey of screaming at myself constantly.
Wow.
Trying to figure out how to get to a new place.
That's amazing. So working with Monk in his place.
Yeah.
I guess you work in your studio, like you said, you're a creature of habit. I'm the same way. You lay down a cool rhythm. You're working off a great hook. Does he come to you and say, no, this sucks. Let's do this instead? And
no. You know what he did for when I brought it to him, he goes, okay, let's plan on starting about 6 or so weeks from now. He goes, in the next 6 weeks, I want you to send me songs that have the vibe and the thought process that you want for this. And I had sent him a whole bunch of songs, and then I brought him a song that was very different. So he'd already had kind of a thought process based off all of the songs I had sent him. When I walked in with this upbeat, rocky kind of thing, he's like, that doesn't make any sense, what you're telling me and what you're showing me. He goes, so why don't we work with what you've been telling me? Because it seems like subliminally, this is where you really want to go, but this is what you walked in with. And I'm like, well, this is what I have, but I don't know what to do. Interesting place to be as somebody who's produced his own records for so long.
Right. Well,
suddenly I didn't know what the hell to do,
Yeah.
I equate it to a guitar player, and you'll get this. I equate it to a guitar player whose guitar sort of stays in tune. Might stay in tune for this song, maybe not the next one, and you're never sure when it's going to go out, but it's the only guitar you have.
Right.
You have to get on stage with it, and you have to be like, oh, please stay in tune, please stay in tune.
Yeah,
kind of the feel.
For years, I was one of those musicians that gave singers a hard time. Why don't you come out with us? You never socialize. You're always telling us we're too loud.
Nope.
You get one set of vocal cords, man. That's it. You break a guitar string, you put another one on, you're good in 5 minutes. You pop a vocal cord, you're out for 5 years.
Yeah. When I first went with my in-ears, back in the early 2000s, I started using my in-ears, and I started bringing them to rehearsals. And the band was like, dude, you got to sing louder. We can't hear you. I'm like, that means you need to turn down because this is as loud as I'm going to be.
Yeah. It was Robert Mason taught me that. And I mean, that guy is a powerhouse, but he's like, if I'm screaming over Marshall amps, I won't be a powerhouse.
Right. Not for long.
No.
The human voice can only take so much.
Yeah. And then he would just stop singing mid-line. Like, what happened? I can't hear myself. No, when I can't hear myself, I'm going to stop singing. There's no point. Because you can't hear me. Yeah. And that's one thing you learn as you get a little bit older and mature. You just have to realize you got to hear yourselves. And there's no point. Who are you trying to impress at this point by being on 10 all the time? I like hearing the song. I like being able to hear each other.
I love the guys who walk into small clubs these days with like a Marshall hashtag. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can come in there with a Vox AC10 and get the job done.
A little pig nose, yeah. I mean, a Sans amp maybe, pushing it, but you bring it a little ahead or something.
But even those nowadays, man, some of the amp sims that are out these days, if you get a Kemper, you don't need an amp.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so many of these, and I know touring guys, like arena level touring guys who don't carry amps. They carry sampling setups.
Yeah.
And they're just, they're just pushed through the monitor or the in-ears and monitors and out through the front of the house, and there's no amps on stage.
I mean, the tube heads are just like checked out of this, like, screw you guys. But, there's a whole world out there of great sounds. And, I'm not one of these guys that just presses the Ed Van Halen button and say, I want to sound like this. You have to customize it. But, I mean, listen, if that's what you like, if you're, doing that, that's great. But
yeah.
There's
But you know what's funny? There's been a lot of stuff over the years that I still use my pod for. I have a pod 2.0, like the old red kidney pods.
Yeah.
And that thing is all over a lot of records, and nobody can ever tell.
No, I still have a Zoom board. I've got a couple of like electronics pieces that they're not broken. I'll introduce new sounds and layers to different things and different voicings, different capo settings, clean against dirty, but there's no reason to they work,
Yeah, absolutely.
And at this point, some of these things are so old, they're like, they're in again because they're kitsch and they're what do the hipsters call it? Vintage.
Isn't that funny how that works?
I'm cool again.
Well, I got
John.
that amp right there that I'm pointing at right now. That is what we call vintage. That's a '63 Fender Bassman. That truly is vintage. That
truly is vintage. That's real throwback. That's not a reissue.
And most younger players today wouldn't even appreciate an amp like that.
No. But they learn though. Some of these kids, they really, really get into like the Zeppelin, they get into the Who, and they dig and they find out. These kids now, they're like my daughter. She's 12 next month. Can you believe that?
Oof. Wow.
And
mine just turned 7.
Yikes. Emma's almost as tall as I am, literally.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I think she's like 5'9.5". She's got a couple more inches, then I'll be looking up at her soon.
She's taller than me.
God.
Which isn't saying much, by the way.
I started out at 6 feet tall. With all the stress, I'm probably about 4'11" right now.
Yeah. My mom was 4'11".
Was she?
That's why I'm short.
My grandmother.
My mom was 4'11". My dad was 5'8". I'm the biggest kid they made at 5'4".
The Polacks in my family were tall, but my mom's side were all Sicilians, and they were all short. So
that was my mom.
Evened out, yeah.
My mom was the grandma from Golden Girls. That's my mom.
Nice. Estelle Getty, everybody has one, yeah.
Yes. Yep.
I love it. Can you tell we're Italians from Jersey? It's ridiculous. I started in Brooklyn, but yeah. How long have you been up in the Boston area now?
2011. So just about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're okay with the winters? You're okay with the Four Seasons?
Dude, it's no different than New Jersey.
I know.
I mean, it's the same exact thing as New Jersey. Actually, the last 2 years, we had like barely any snow up here. It's been great.
We had more snow. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
We had I think we had a total of like 20 inches this past season, 22 inches. It was like nothing.
That's
we had like one good dump at like 13 inches. And that was it.
Yeah, that's nuts. I think Greta's onto something. If Massachusetts is getting 20 inches in a season, that's not too good. That's supposed to be like one decent day.
But then 2 years ago, we had like 130 inches.
Yeah,
it was insane up here. We literally got like a 10-inch snowstorm every 2 days up here for like a whole month in 1 year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's like you get the snow, it freezes, more snow on top of that. There's no chance of it melting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our snowblower worked hard that season.
It pays for itself. But
I don't think we even pulled it out this year. I think I just shoveled everything. It wasn't that bad.
I do the same thing. I'm pretty old school. I like to go out in my short sleeves and shovel, and everyone's like, look at that idiot. I'm in my shorts,
Showing off those arms. Just that.
Why get them if right?
Yeah. Well, you're kind of huge. I mean.
I'm working at it. I'm trying to lay off the cupcakes, It's like, another chicken breast, another egg white. Okay. I want the French toast and sausage, but once in a while. We had that conversation about hot dogs. Once in a while.
Well, nothing wrong with hot dogs. As long as they're soubrettes. Exactly.
My mom was just telling me this morning about soubrettes. They were doing some Facebook thing, and it's like, what's the best hot dog out there? And this is how we spend our days now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I cook though, because I like to cook. And right now, I'm an active triathlete still, but there's no triathlon season this year. And I'm about to do stem cell therapy on my knee. So this season's a wash for me. Wow. So I've been cultivating a very nice dad bod. I'm not in race shape. Like last year, I was like ripped. I was in because I was doing Ironman.
Yeah,
like
you
right
were,
before
man.
COVID. I just finished Ironman season. And now, no, not so much.
So other than no vocal cords and no knee cartilage, you're just fine. You're a prize.
You know what's funny? I have plenty of cartilage.
Yeah.
I do. I have plenty of cartilage in my knee. The spacing in my knee that's no problem. It's I have about a half a dozen other problems in my knee: osteoarthritis and bone spurs and a torn meniscus and Osgood's and patellar tracking syndromes and all kinds of other weird stuff. Hopefully, stem cell therapy is going to alleviate a good portion of it, so I don't have to get surgery.
Yeah, I'm right behind you. I'm 50, so I'm coming. And
did you get your AARP card yet?
I did. I did.
To use it. It's great.
Yeah, a lot of
Good discounts.
It was actually 7 years ago. It wasn't even, I'm thinking to myself, it felt like last year, but I was playing softball. I hit a home run over the fence, so I'm trotting. And I turn second base in a trot. And my knee just goes out. And it didn't hurt, but it just went numb. I couldn't feel it. And when I went to take a step, it's like your leg fell asleep. And I'm like, come get me. I can't finish the bases. And it didn't really hurt. But then after they iced it and everything else when I got home, then I felt like someone shot me. And it was like an MCL damage. It was soft tissue, thank God, on the inside.
Good.
If it was ACL, you lose in a season.
Good. I tore my meniscus 2 years ago. And my doctor was like, it's not worth surgery. Just don't do a Spartan race. Don't come jumping off walls and doing OCRs. Triathlon was fine. He goes, you swim, bike, and run all in a straight line. He goes, they're fine. And I had an amazing season that year. But, it's still in there. It's still giving me some issues here and there. So I'm looking at options.
We have to rename the show. Two old white bald bastards with first world problems.
Talk a little music, talk a little arthritis. It's all good.
Did we talk whiskey yet?
This is life. No, we haven't talked whiskey yet.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I saw
I didn't bring any. I should have brought some whiskey down. I could run and get some if you're taking a commercial break.
Well, actually, we take the commercial break. I want to play on your song. The way I'm doing this now, I'm doing like 30 up front, or 30-ish. And then I've got to jump to the radio side when this is done so I can play the music. These copyright laws, they're crazy.
Nice.
It drives me nuts.
Whiskey's a good thing, though. Yeah. Whiskey's a good thing. I'll tell you what, man. In the last bunch of years playing gigs, I sort of tapered a bit. I wasn't really drinking very much. I'm a little older, a little wiser. Wasn't hitting it hard. Being home, I probably drink more now that I'm home than I was when I was touring in the last bunch of years.
I go out to the patio, and when I'm grilling, I'll light up a cigar or something. I'll light up, just a little one. Once a month. I don't go crazy with the cigars.
No, for me, it's like kids will go to bed. I've got, I'm not ready for bed yet. I pour myself a little glass of whiskey, and I come down here and I tool and toil around.
Yeah, a double, just something nice to take the edge off.
Yep.
I'm out in the patio. The grill is on. The cigar's lit. I got a hot cup of coffee. I got to even it up with something nice, something smooth. Someone gave me a bottle of Johnny Blue as a gift.
Oh.
Yeah.
Johnny Blue is nice.
That is about as smooth as, you think,
Johnny Blue is what? Is that 15 year?
I think so. Yeah. There's the black, the red, which I think those are 12, right?
Are they 12? I think the blue is 15 or 18.
I think so.
I think maybe 18. Might be 18.
It's like
that's a nice whiskey.
Bottle.
That's nice. Yeah.
Worth every sip, man. Worth every dollar. Really, really just enjoy that. Just, just let it sit there and.
Well, that's the thing. I don't really shoot anymore. I sip.
No.
All about sipping. Just enjoying the moment.
You learn, man. Once you're out of your 20s, it's like, what am I doing? Why am I maxing out, blowing out my shoulders on the bench press? The girls don't care. They got the ear pods on. They're watching TV. Yeah. They're not looking at this way.
Yep. All my clients now, so I'm a personal trainer and a massage therapist and everything else now. All my clients now, we don't lift heavy, and they're in great shape. My clients are strong, but we don't lift heavy. There's just no need at our age to be lifting heavy.
No. Once in a while, I'll go a little bit heavy. I'll throw a couple plates on just to kind of shock the muscles and, get more of that definition. But, yeah, for the most part, you just don't want to fall into that rut where your muscles like, okay, row curls, here come the triceps, here come, you just have to make sure, keep the body guessing.
Yep.
It took me a while to figure that out, but, you find something that works.
Last thing I need to do right now is blow his shoulder or something.
I did. I partially tore the rotator cuff. Just too much benching. So my doctor's like, no more benching. I'm like, what about...
Was it did you partially tore the labrum in there?
I think so. He talks. I'm basically looking to get out of there as quick as I can. No surgery needed. I was okay.
Good.
He's like, just lay off it. And I sort of did. I went to the machine instead. I was doing the sissy stuff, self-spotting. Yep. It only goes to 300 pounds. I can't do any damage.
Keeps you safe. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to prove anything at this age.
Yeah.
You drop a barbell on your chest and you're making a tough decision. Do I mutilate my face or do I castrate myself? Yeah. And after having kids, I'm not having it anymore, and I got a face for radio. So I guess either way, it's not going to matter much. So
come on, you're a very pretty man.
I work hard on it, John. And you've got the porn lighting there. I mean, my God, you look like a model.
I do. Thank you. Thank you.
I've got the discount store lighting here.
No, we're gonna hook you up, man. I'm gonna send you all the. I'll send you all the links so you can make your place look like this.
No, it really, really looks good.
And it's not expensive. It's like $100 for this.
That's amazing. Isn't it crazy now? You'd have a TV show and it would cost you $25,000 just to walk into a studio.
Yeah.
And have a lighting guy and have, you know, a gaffer and all these people, which you still do if you really want to have a high production show.
Right. My production suite all totaled was $2,000. And that's the cameras, the computer, the screens, the lighting, cabling, everything else. It was just about $2,000 for everything. But the lighting back here was like under $100.
Yeah, the uplights are cool. It really, really pops everything.
Thanks.
So, you can take us through a tour of the studio. I see.
And the nice thing is, I have another set of these because I liked them so much. I take them out to my acoustic shows, and they're like a 30-second setup, and I have nice lighting on stage.
Yeah.
So what would you like now?
We got the background there. I know you pointed out the '63 Fender, but
yeah.
Your keyboard back there, I know what that is. Why don't you tell the people what that is, that organ?
That's a 62 Hammond M111. M111 Spin It. So it's got the guts of an M3. So it's got a full tone wheel inside. So it's got the full guts minus the black and white flipped octave. So all the keys are white and black. Mm-hmm. On the real M3 B3s, the last octave is black and white.
Right.
So I don't have that on the keys, but I have everything else that's in a B3 or an M3 inside that. It's just made for home.
And tell them what a bitch it was to get in there. How heavy was that thing to get in there?
Like 350 pounds. That's why it's never leaving. It's just she's going to stay right here forever.
That's right. If you knock the house down, you build around that thing.
Yes. And I got it from a woman in Brooklyn for free. She played at church. She played church organ, and this was her practice organ at home, and she stopped playing at the church. And she put a Craigslist ad up, said, if you can get it out of my house, it's yours. I was like, my way.
We're going to Brooklyn.
So I grabbed Rich Bleicher.
Nice.
And Rich and I drove over in my tour van, and we humped this thing like 4 feet at a time. Picked it up, drop. Picked it up, drop. And we got it all the way down her hallway, down her stairs, and into my van.
Oh, Blue was hating you that night, wasn't it?
Oh, Blue. Well, Blue carried way more than that.
That's true, yeah.
But
5 guys and all the
Rich was hating me that night.
Rich and his back were hating you, yeah.
Yes.
And what about the drum kit? What's back there?
That is a Pearl Session Pro custom kit from 2002.
Nice. And I've seen the kids on that.
Yeah, I put my kids on that. And my daughter loves to play it. And I put my son on it once in a while. My daughter has her own drum set, though. It's really cute. It's like a little small snag set. And it's great. But I got that because when I came off touring full-time, I sold my van and trailer. And a buddy of mine came to me and said, look, dude, I want to buy your van and trailer, but I can afford the van. I can't afford the trailer. I'm like, okay. He goes, but you just built a studio, didn't you? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I have this drum set that I paid $1,800 for. I'll trade you that for the trailer. I'm like, well, I paid $1,750 for the trailer. So deal. There you go. So I got the drums on a trade for the trailer when he bought my van too.
That's awesome.
And they're amazing. They're amazing. Just stunningly good sounding drums.
What about the cymbals?
Cymbals are a mix between Sabian and Zildjian.
Okay.
When I play live, I play Sabian, but in the studio, I like some more flavors. So there's a mix in there of different Sabians and different Zildjians.
There you go, gentlemen. Bidding war. He's not kissing anybody's ass until the check is big enough.
No, I play what sounds good.
That's it.
So, yeah. So, and then there's some more amps. There's a Fender M80 chorus right there. There's a Marshall. I can go to my other camera if you want. We can do the full studio tour.
Look at this guy showing off. Good for you.
Hang on. Let's do the full studio tour. Is it this one? Let's check the camera.
Wow.
It is. All right. So you've got...
That's an arsenal.
You've got the Les Paul rack over here. You've got some acoustics over here. This one is one of my favorites. This is a 67 Yamaha and FG75, and it's just a great guitar. And it's from the year I was born, which makes it even better.
Exactly.
My Ovations, which I was sponsored by Ovation for close to 12 years.
Right. I could never play an Ovation. They drive me crazy.
Oh man, plugged in. There's nothing like. There's very few things like them plugged in.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Like, for anybody who doesn't play, they have a rounded back, and they get a little tough. Like, you can't really lap them. You have to.
No, well, these are the shallow bodies though.
Are they? Okay.
Like, look how thin this one is.
Oh, that is thin. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so you don't even feel it.
All right. Yeah, that's not the full one. Like, the other one's like a turtle back. It's like they're.
Yeah, I have those inside. So inside the control room, I have those. So then you've got the Fender back there. The Fender 63 back there, the basement. An M80 chorus, a Marshall JT M60 with an additional cabinet, a 62 Airline 12 watt that just came. It came out of Malibu Sound Studios in LA, where like everybody recorded in the 80s and 70s and 90s. Kool and the Gang, Earth, Wind and Fire, Guns N' Roses, you name it, everybody recorded it at that place. So we've got all of that. Yeah, right. And then I've got some of these small, little tiny. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah. The little tiny hot tone amps.
Mm-hmm. Right on top of the Marshall. Yeah.
Yep. So I've got a bunch of that stuff. This is the video side.
Hey, there we are.
Look, there's Ray.
Look at that guy. What a handsome.
If you ever want to interview yourself, we'll just do it this way. I'll just hold the camera.
Be like Dave Mustaine. Hello, me. It's me again. Very cool.
And then the other side of the studio is the control room.
Other side of the glass.
Yeah, and but you can see the difference between a webcam and a real camera.
Yeah, definitely.
So the quality difference between a webcam and a real cam. So a better lens makes a big difference.
This here, guys, is the before picture. Yes, I am the host, and I look like I'm in a Kabul basement somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you what. Most of what you see is lighting. Honestly,
of course,
you can have like a Logitech C920, which is a good webcam, and if you do the right lighting, you can make it look like a DSLR.
Playboy centerfold. Everything in life is lighting.
There you go. That's it.
And a lot of
it's all about lighting and angles.
That's
you know, you see all those Instagram models, you catch them when they're not doing the right lighting and angles.
Yeah, everything's from up here.
Yep.
Let me see you look down at the camera. I know. I'll do the same thing. I'll be like looking down at something. It's like, wow, why did I get these jowls? I didn't know I had this much skin.
Yeah, that's another thing when you get a little bit older that happens that I'm very conscious of.
No matter what your body fat count is, like you just have, back here, I got the little hot dog roll, I
don't have that yet, thankfully. And we're bald. We can't even hide it with hair.
No, exactly. There's nothing. But that's all right.
See, and this is what happens when Ray and I get together. It's like, yeah, song, you got a new song. That's great. So, next.
What else can we bitch about today? What sucks today that didn't suck back?
We should do like the Two Old Bald Guys podcast.
That'd be awesome. See, life sucked back then too. We don't remember. It's like we bitched about the same thing 35 years ago.
We had more tolerance back then. Now we're just like, screw it.
No more patience. Yeah, exactly. Well, 2 kids, a wife, I mean, you use it. That's it. That's your limit.
That'd be fun, man. You and me do a podcast, and it's just we find all of the stupid things during the week, like the most ridiculous news stories we could find, the stupidest social media stuff we see, and we just bitch about it for an hour.
There's no shortage of stupidity out there. That's what Dan.
Look at this idiot.
Yeah. And I mean, truth be told, I've contributed to the stupid side for sure. I mean, yeah, right.
Plenty.
We're out there all the time. It's going to happen. But, oh my God, we just blew through 30 minutes. This is crazy. I'm going to play the song when we go to break. Tell everybody out there shamelessly how they can get a hold of you for the massage therapy, the gym, go to town with the music. Where are we going to go to check it out?
For the fitness side, it's just tagteamfitness.com. But my website for music is johntaglieri.com, and that's TAGLIERI. So johntaglieri.com. All social media is John Taglieri or John Taglieri Music. Easy to find.
Well, you'll be happy to know the song is charting, and Mabel Aragon, who does our top 10 on New Visions Radio, she correctly pronounced Taglieri. I was like, look at you. And she's not even Italian. She's Spanish. Nice.
Yeah, I moved up from number 10 to number 8 on your main chart this week, so that was a nice feeling.
Yeah. Well,
we got to get it to number 1. Got to go to number 1, baby.
Just keep that payola coming.
It's my big comeback single. It's an emotional, heart-tugging story, and my big comeback. It's got to hit number one because that's what would happen in Hallmark.
It's cathartic. Movie. It's a Disney movie. It's the after school special.
If this was Lifetime, I would be number one.
Exactly. I'd be crying here with my popcorn and my
we'd all be going, "We are the world."
Exactly. Save John. Free John. I love it.
Nice.
Listen, we got to do this in person, man. I got to come up there one day and crack open a beer or 40 and, write some songs.
I have plenty of whiskey upstairs.
We have plenty of whiskey. We covered that for sure. I'm going to have to...
and I think I've got Yingling in the fridge somewhere.
Oh, nice. See, Yingling will put the pounds on. I got to watch those. Because, I mean, those are... You don't want to go to Yingling Light. You want to have a Yingling. You want the real lager. Of course.
If I'm drinking a beer, I'm not drinking anything light.
No.
On the rare occasion I have a beer, I'm not drinking anything that says light beer.
If it wasn't a family show, I would make another comparison, but we'll save that for off the air. I have enough people mad at me already. Sponsors are going to be pulling out left and right, but...
Nice.
John, man, always a blast. Come by anytime.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
On the Facebook Live if you see me, and... Hey, man, best of everything. God bless with the family, and
thank you.
Let's do this soon again.
Absolutely.
John Taglieri, everybody. Go check him out. JohnTaglieri.com. Tag Team Fitness. He's all over the place. He'll find you if you don't find him.
Yes, I'll hunt you.
All right, later.
All right, man. Thank you.
The Ray Powers Hour.